Broken Age is Double Fine Productions' upcoming point-and-click adventure. It's a retro-style game, but it's being developed for a contemporary audience. So what's it like working on a classic-style retro game for a more contemporary, modern audience? You've got all these AAA games coming out and these new consoles, and you guys are making a really classic, sort of wholesome, old-school game. What's that like?
It's very interesting. So I should probably mention that I used to work for LucasArts, and not that long ago, and I actually worked on the Monkey Island remakes, the HD remakes. So it's kind of, I've seen enough on both sides, both like taking an old game and actually having the old game already run and just making it kind of contemporary in terms of visually. And now we're kind of going, not the opposite direction, but we're starting from the other end where we say like, we want to have this old school feeling like in terms of gameplay, but we also want to make sure that it looks very contemporary and awesome. And it's very interesting because, you know, everyone in the studio is like obviously a big fan of Tim's work. So we all have played his games when we were young and stuff like that. And for me especially, like, you know, I would have never imagined that I would work together with him at some point. But so it's kind of weird. So I have kind of like I know of those games like back from the past and when I played them, and now it's kind of, I have to apply that knowledge still to kind of take that and kind of still make it good looking and like apply all the modern strategies that we have now with shaders and stuff like that so we can actually use the hardware.
Broken Age was funded via Kickstarter last year and made more than 800% its original funding goal. Since then, Double Fine has been keeping all its backers up to date with a special forum where they've been completely transparent on the game's development.
Not a lot of people share this kind of things on a day-to-day basis, and it's been quite liberating for me to kind of be able to very early on go and show that to people, and they really appreciate it, I think, and yeah, it's been cool. I really like this open kind of development process.
Do you think more developers will learn from you guys and sort of take up the idea of having that two-way communication with their backers?
I really hope so. I mean, it's, you know, indie developers do that all the time. It's just they don't get such a big audience, I suppose. You know, obviously we're pretty known as a studio, and that really helps us. But I really do hope a lot of more people do that kind of workflow. You know, even for us, sometimes it's really challenging if backers can see a lot of things. It can be interesting because things that you promise, you know, somebody might throw that back at you later on, and you know, obviously we're not going to promise anything that we can't keep in the end. But you know, you have to just be careful what you say, I guess, sometimes.
Earlier this summer, Double Fine announced that it would release the first half of Broken Age in January via Steam Early Access. And while some backers were very vocal about how unhappy they were about getting a game in two parts, let's not forget they're simultaneously developing that game for Windows, Mac, Linux, and have an iOS and Android version planned later down the line.
You know, I'm coming more from a console background. I've been, you know, working in console games for a long time. So for me, multi-platform development always meant like, you know, PC, Xbox, and PS3. So it was like three. They were pretty similar. So like coming onto Broken Age, where ahead of time we knew that we have to be, you know, on all the like desktop platforms like Windows and Linux OS X, as well as mobile devices, was actually quite a challenge because they are very different in terms of what they can support. So it was a lot of work to get this.
Did you have to scale anything back for certain devices?
But yes, we have to scale back for some of the weaker mobile devices. So if you're running like a pretty old Android device there that's just not that fast, then we have to pull something down. But the game still looks okay. Like, unfortunately, I don't have an Android device with me, but you have to trust me that it looks still really good on those too.